A new Lord of the Rings movie. It has us curious, and also a little nervous. At the heart of the story is one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise, and a whole lot could go wrong. In The Hunt for Gollum, Andy Serkis returns to his iconic role after 15 years, but he won't be the only familiar face making a comeback. In this video, we cover all the known details about the cast, the story, and the theatrical release date. So grab some lembas bread, sharpen your blades, and get ready for a new journey to Middle-earth. The Hunt for Gollum is the first live-action The Lord of the Rings film to hit the big screen in over a decade. The last live-action movie was The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies in 2014. Last year, The War of the Rohirrim came out as an anime prequel, but a new movie featuring characters from the original trilogy? Now that's a whole new ballgame. But what can we actually expect from The Hunt for Gollum? The story runs parallel to The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The focus is on Gollum, who, as we recall, is one of the few individuals at the beginning who knows anything about the ring's whereabouts. And that alone is reason enough for several factions to hunt him down mercilessly. Screenwriter Philippa Boyens has already outlined the exact time frame of the story. It's quite an intense story, which falls after the birthday party of Bilbo and before the Mines of Moria, told through the perspective of this incredible creature. In The Fellowship of the Ring, we saw that Gollum, under torture, reveals to the Nazgul where the One Ring can be found. As a result, they begin their hunt for Frodo and his friends. What's interesting is that the story of the new movie takes place right up to the events in Moria, so the hunt may not be over yet when Gollum is captured by Sauron's servants. This is probably where other characters come into play, but more on that later. On the one hand, ending the story in Moria creates a neat narrative link, since it is there that Frodo first becomes aware of Gollum in the Fellowship of the Ring. On the other hand, we also wonder how this could serve as an exciting conclusion for the new film. Incidentally, there has already been a movie titled The Hunt for Gollum. The 2009 low-budget production was purely a fan project. When the new feature film was announced, distributor Warner took legal action and had the popular video blocked on YouTube. After a huge backlash, however, the company backed down, and the film is now back online. The cast of The Hunt for Gollum is already sparking major discussion. The reason? We will be seeing some actors from the original movies reprise their legendary roles. One thing is certain, there can be no Gollum without Andy Serkis. The actor is considered a pioneer of modern motion capture technology, or performance capture as he calls it today, since far more than just basic movements are recorded now. His portrayal of Gollum set new standards in filmmaking at the time. Since then, he has delivered many other memorable performances, for example in the new Planet of the Apes films. Time and again, there were rumors about Sir Ian McKellen returning as Gandalf. In a TV show, the 86-year-old joked that the filmmakers had better hurry up if they wanted him to play the role once more. But at a fan event in London, he finally announced, "I'll tell you two secrets about the casting. There's a character in the movie called Frodo, and there's another character called Gandalf. Apart from that, my lips are sealed." Also on stage were other The Lord of the Rings actors, such as Sean Astin, Dominic Monaghan, and of course, Elijah Wood, who could hardly hide his grin. This makes it more or less clear McKellen and Wood will be returning to their iconic roles in The Hunt for Gollum. The time period of the story naturally offers plenty of room for the return of additional characters. Most obvious is the appearance by Aragorn. At this point in the storyline, the Ranger had been tasked with tracking down Gollum. Original actor Viggo Mortensen has previously said he would be open to returning. Overall, several actors are potential candidates for cameo roles. Characters like Elrond and Galadriel could be featured, for example, in connection with the growing threat posed by Sauron. They also made appearances in the Hobbit movies. Despite all the excitement about the possible return of popular characters, we need to address the elephant in the room. 25 years have passed since the Fellowship of the Ring, and the actors certainly have not gotten any younger. For Gollum, that's hardly an issue. But what about the other roles? It's difficult to imagine even one single beloved character being recast. The filmmakers will likely try once again to push the boundaries of what's technically possible and rely on CGI to rejuvenate the characters. Much has been accomplished in this area in recent years, yet the technique still faces plenty of criticism. We are already expecting heated debates in the comment section. What do you think? Is it worth a try? Or should they leave these characters out entirely and focus on new ones instead? Fortunately, there is more flexibility when it comes to the villains. Sauron and Nazgul will likely play an important role again and are not affected by the age issue. However, it is precisely on the side of the villains that we see the potential to introduce some fresh and interesting characters. As soon as there is more information about the casting of The Hunt for Gollum, you will of course be able to find it in the free KinoCheck app. That way, you will always have the latest movie news right at your fingertips. Andy Serkis is not only taking on the role of Gollum, he's also directing the film. It's not his first time in the director's chair. His previous movies include Venom 2 and the Netflix movie Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle. He also worked behind the camera for several scenes in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. The screenplay is written in part by Philippa Boyens and Fran Walsh, who, together with Peter Jackson, also penned the scripts for the original films. This time, Jackson is involved only as a producer. Additional writing support comes from Phoebe Gittins and Artie Papagiorgio. The two most recently worked on the script for the animated film The War of the Rohirrim. Peter Jackson sees great potential in a movie about Gollum. The character has always fascinated me, because Gollum reflects the worst of human nature, whilst his Smeagol side is, arguably, quite sympathetic. I think he connects with readers and film audiences alike, because there's a little bit of both of them in all of us. The production schedule has already been set. Filming is slated to begin in May 2026. Originally, the movie was even supposed to hit theaters in 2026, but it is now official that The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum will be released on December 17, 2027. The timing is typical for the film series. All of Peter Jackson's films were released in December. For many fans, it has also become a tradition to re-watch the old movies during the holiday season. We find the project very exciting, especially because there is such a high level of risk involved. On the one hand, it's the former team in front of and behind the camera, and a story that is closely connected to the original trilogy. Essentially, this is a reason to be thrilled. But that's also precisely why the worry is so great. For many, the Lord of the Rings films are among the best that the movie industry has ever produced. What if the new movie ruins that legacy? What if we see the old characters in a new light, only to find they are just shadows of their former selves? The whole project strikes a bit of a sour note. We doubt there was genuine interest in learning more details about Gollum's journeys. It seems more like Warner simply wanted to create a new The Lord of the Rings project that relies heavily on nostalgia, a different approach than Amazon's The Rings of Power, which explores a completely different era. The focus on Gollum is primarily a practical choice. The character is not affected by the well-known age issue of the actors, and he's also considered an absolute fan favorite. But is it really doing him a favor to invent more adventures for him? Even with the Hobbit films, there was widespread criticism that the source material was not enough for 3 feature-length films, especially when they dragged it out with countless action scenes and subplots. And the same team that worked on the first trilogy was responsible for these films as well. So, that alone is no guarantee that they will be able to recapture the magic of the original. But who knows? Maybe despite the odd circumstances, they will manage to create something entirely new that will captivate us all once again. We remain eager to find out. What do you think? Are you looking forward to Gollum's solo movie? Would you have preferred other stories? Or should the franchise just be left alone at this point? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, your KinoCheck team.